welcome to my top 10 movies that I saw in cinemas in 2018. I know it is after Christmas, but it's still that weird time of year where people are celebrating, so I'm leaving all the Christmas garb on so that we can carry on celebrating until at least the 1st of January. Then we can finish then. Last time I did a movie video, I did my top 10 least favourite films of the year, so I'll link that up here so that you have it. If you missed any of my Vlogmas videos, I'll also link that playlist at some point. I hope if you celebrate you had a lovely Christmas, or that you had a little bit of time off between the last video and this one. I also uploaded my Christmas lights video, so you can go and watch that if you need to get back into a little bit of festive spirit. This video is inspired by Mark Kermode. As I mentioned in the last video, he always does a top 10 best and worst movies of the year, and so I thought, yes, I've seen a lot of films this year, I'm going to do the same. However, I'm not splitting mine into two halves like he does, and I'm also not going to rank the films. These are just 10 of what I think were my favourite films that I watched in cinemas this year. So yeah, let's get right on with it because it's been a minute and a half. Oh. Okay, I'm going to start with ones that I saw at the beginning of the year first of all. So I saw The Post. It was Oscar nominated. Tom Hanks didn't get an Oscar nomination for it, which was interesting, but I thought it definitely deserved an Oscar nomination. I actually saw this film twice. A lot of the films on this list I saw twice, and that's why they've made it onto the list. It was really interesting because I didn't know anything about the scandal that it covered, so I learnt a lot of stuff. It's the kind of historical period that I don't know a lot about. I mean, I know a lot of people, it's living history, but yeah, I don't know a lot about that time period, and I just thought that Meryl Streep and Tom Hanks and Bob Odenkirk were all fantastic in it, and I just really enjoyed it. So if you haven't seen that one, definitely give it a watch. Then The Greatest Showman. I know this one came out just before Christmas, so just at the end of 2017, but I saw it twice in the cinemas in 2018. The first one I saw it on the 2nd of January, so it just squeaked into my 2018, and then I rewatched it in the cinemas in March, and rewatched it on DVD in April, and rewatched it on a plane in June. It's a good film. It's a musical. If you haven't heard of it, you've obviously been living under a rock. I don't need to go into what it's about. The song's great. The film's good. It's got a lot of controversy surrounding it because of their decision not to use actual actors with disabilities or disfigurements, or however you want to refer to it, but to use actors and use CGI makeup, and I completely acknowledge that, but it's still a really good feel-good film, and I enjoy the songs from it as well. Then we have Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again, another one which I saw twice in the cinemas. It was just feel good, and it was great to revisit the characters. It was great that they acknowledged their aging. I didn't like sharing it, we'll gloss over that, but I liked it enough to go and pay to see it again in the cinema, so it's a good film, and another musical, obviously. Then we have Won't You Be My Neighbour, which is a documentary about the TV show with Mr. Rogers, with Fred Rogers. Growing up in England, I didn't ever see that show. I know it's a staple for a lot of young people here, and the people that I went to see it with all loved Mr. Rogers for the first time. Sorry, I saw it twice as well. Yeah, they all loved Mr. Rogers and had grown up with him. Both times I went to see it, I cried, and that's in a documentary, so there you go. If you haven't seen it, even if you don't know Mr. Rogers' Neighbourhood or Fred Rogers at all, have never heard of him like I hadn't, I can guarantee that you will take something away from it, and you will be enlightened as to what the show was all about and what people saw in it. So definitely a recommendation. Another one that I saw twice in the movie theatres, and that is Crazy Rich Asians. I have a book versus movie video all about this one, so I will not go into this one. I'll just link you to that movie up here. Then we have Bohemian Rhapsody, something which I haven't actually seen twice, but at this point, it's still playing in movie theatres here anyway, so I may still see it again, because it was just a great time. It was like going to a rock concert and watching a documentary and just being entertained all at the same time. I'm sure a lot of you have seen it, so I don't need to say an awful lot more, but I just really enjoyed it. Then we have something which I saw at the same time and would still love to kind of go and do a double bill of the two, and that is A Star Is Born. Saw this twice at the cinema, managed to see it in Dolby. I didn't manage to catch it when it was re-released in IMAX, but it was great in Dolby because, again, it felt like you were at these live performances. You could hear Lady Gaga like singing at you from all over the place. Bradley Cooper was amazing. She was amazing. It really tugged at the heartstrings, brought out your emotions, but was entertaining at the same time, and I just loved it. Then we have Love, Simon, which is the film version of Simon versus the Homo sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. She features a lot in my top 10 YA fiction list, so make sure you go and check that out. That will already be up on here by the time this one goes up. And I did a whole book versus movie on that one here, so I will link it for you. Then we have Instant Family, which again is another film I would have liked to have seen again, but there are still loads of showings at the cinemas, and I checked and they're still quite busy as well. So I love that other people are loving this film as much as I have, because I just thought it was amazing. I cried the whole way through. That is not an exaggeration. I spent 2 hours with tears just coming down my face. I was sore the next day from crying. But it was just like feel good and joyful and entertaining at the same time. I was crying happy tears as well as sad tears, and I came away just wanting to adopt all the children, just adopt them all. And it was just really good. So if you haven't had a chance to see that one yet, definitely recommend it. Take tissues. Don't be like me and end up with dirty cuffs from wiping your eyes. Definitely not. And then kind of number 10 on my list is a little bit of a cheat, because if you've been following my film reviews for a while, you will know that I set out to watch all 20 Marvel films. So starting with Iron Man 2, Iron Man 3, Avengers Age of Ultron, Avengers Infinity War, Captain America Civil War, etc, etc. And so I am putting my kind of watch of the Marvel films, because I did it in the space of about 3 weeks. Yeah, I managed to do it in about 3 weeks. I watched, the thing that kicked it off was the fact that I accidentally went to watch, not accidentally, I bought the ticket, but went to watch Avengers Infinity War, not knowing really that it was like part 20 of a 20-part saga that's been going for 10 years. But then I was lucky enough to go to an IMAX re-release of the films in order. So I watched 4 films one day, 4 films the next, 2 films the next day, because I then had to go on a plane and fly back to the UK. But I managed to watch some of the films on the plane, and I then did a combination of Blu-ray that I borrowed from the library, Sky, when I was back home I managed to get Spider-Man on Sky, and Netflix and Amazon Prime to watch the rest of them. So yeah, I would count that as my kind of 10th on my list of films this year, because I loved watching them back to back, and I loved catching up with this franchise that everyone else has been talking about and everyone else has like loved and is passionate about. So now I feel like I'm part of that club, and I thought the films were really entertaining. I thought they had a bit of everything. I really enjoyed them, and I'm not like an action film fan, so for me to come out here and be like, yes, I love the Marvel films, it's quite a big thing. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed my top 10. I would really like to know in the comments below what your sort of best and worst film or films of the year were, if you agree with any of the ones that I talked about. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up, and if you are not already subscribed, I make film videos every Sunday here on my channel. If I'm not going to make one Sunday, I always give you prior warning, because there has been a couple that I've missed. And I make book videos during the week as well as book versus film videos. So you can get involved with those whether you're a book fan or a film fan. So yeah, make sure you're subscribed so that content lands right in your subscription feed and you don't miss a video. I will be back with my December wrap up. What? Tomorrow. Where did December go? I have no idea. So yeah, and I will be back with some more film reviews next Sunday. So I will see you then. Bye.